Now we have several related developments on the Darfur conflict in Sudan. Over the weekend, UN representatives remembered 7 peacekeepers who were murdered in Darfur last week. It came days after the Washington Post reported that the prosecutor for the UN's International Criminal Court will seek an arrest warrant for the Sudanese president. Meanwhile, the BBC reported over the weekend that Chinese weapons were being used against civilians in Darfur. The weapons include Chinese military trucks, anti-aircraft guns and fighter jets, and they violate a UN arms embargo against the Sudanese government. This is a complicated story, but we're going to go through the latest developments step by step. Here's more.
They are called anti-aircraft guns, but in Darfur they are being used on unarmed civilians. The guns' massive shells explode on impact, mixing metal with fire. The BBC quoted one man who witnessed a close-range attack. An intense wave of heat instantly sent all the huts around up in flames. There was a lot of screaming. The BBC also found evidence that the Chinese Communist regime is training fighter pilots to launch bombing runs on civilians in Darfur, violating a UN arms embargo on Sudan. Chinese authorities declined to comment on the evidence. Meanwhile, a UN prosecutor is to seek the arrest of Sudan's president today for crimes against humanity and genocide. Shortly after the news broke on Friday, Sudanese and Chinese officials reacted negatively.
Let him make his accusation by tomorrow. It will be a long time from the time he makes the accusation to the time the court passes a ruling, and from the time of the court ruling to the time the Security Council makes a decision. When that happens, we will take the necessary stands and measures.
But even if the case makes it to the Security Council, it would still have to pass a Chinese veto, which is unlikely because China is a close ally of Sudan. Experts estimate about 200,000 people have died and 2.5 million have been driven from their homes in 5 years of fighting between rebels and government-backed militias. It is impossible to say how many of those killed were innocent victims, but over the weekend the UN honored 7 of them. The 7 victims were peacekeepers, ambushed during a patrol by an unidentified militia last Tuesday.